I'm about to tell you something that will either make you angry or set you free. And honestly, I don't care which one it is. Because what I'm about to reveal destroys a multi-billion-dollar industry built on keeping you desperate. Stop manifesting. Right now. Stop it. Because everything you've been taught about manifestation is designed to keep you chasing, wanting, begging, and buying the next course, the next book, the next technique, the next secret. But there is no secret. There never was. The quantum field has been responding to you perfectly your entire life, every single day, every single moment. You've been manifesting flawlessly. The problem? You've been manifesting the same reality over and over again because nobody told you the one thing that actually matters. And I'm going to tell you that thing in the next 14 minutes. But I need to warn you, once you hear this, you can't unhear it. Once you understand this, you can't go back to blaming circumstances, other people, or the universe for why your life looks the way it does. This is going to be uncomfortable. This might make you angry at me. You might even hate this video. But if you stay until the end, if you let this land in your body instead of just your mind, your entire reality can shift before you finish watching. Right now, infinite versions of your life exist, not as possibilities, as realities. The version where you're wealthy, the version where you're deeply loved, the version where you're living your purpose. They're not waiting to be created. They're already here, vibrating at frequencies you can access today. But you've been trying to access them the wrong way. And that's not an accident. You were taught the wrong way on purpose. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why manifestation is so stupidly simple that a child could do it, yet why 99% of adults never experience it. You'll know the one thing blocking every single manifestation you've ever attempted, and you'll know how to shift it in the next 24 hours. But first, I need to destroy everything you think you know, because the truth isn't hiding behind complexity. It's hiding behind simplicity. And your mind has been trained to reject simple truths because simple doesn't sell courses. Are you ready? Because there's no going back after this. Here's the truth that's going to hurt. And I need you to really feel this, not just hear it. Every single time you say, I want abundance, you are coding yourself for poverty. Every time you visualize your dream relationship while feeling lonely, you're broadcasting separation into the quantum field. Every single affirmation you speak from a place of lack is a signal that screams, I don't have it. Wanting is the frequency of not having. Read that again, slowly. Let it sink into your bones. The quantum field doesn't hear your words. It doesn't care about your vision boards. It does respond to how many times you repeat an affirmation or how hard you believe. The quantum field is a mirror, a perfect, neutral, emotionless mirror that reflects back exactly what you are, not what you want. And here's the part that's going to make you uncomfortable. You've been vibrating lack your entire life, even while doing manifestation rituals, even while visualizing, even while staying positive. Why? Because beneath all of that performance, your nervous system is wired for survival. Your subconscious mind is running programs installed before you could even speak. Programs of fear, unworthiness, scarcity, danger. And those programs, they're broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called the observer effect. It proves that the act of observation collapses a wave of infinite possibilities into one single reality. But here's what they don't teach you. You're not just observing with your conscious mind. You're observing with your entire energetic system, your trauma, your conditioning, your beliefs, your nervous system, your ancestral programming, every suppressed emotion, every unprocessed wound. And here's the number that will blow your mind. 95% of your behavior is driven by the subconscious mind, not 50%, not 70%, 95%. That means only 5% of you is consciously choosing anything. The other 95%, that's autopilot. That's programming. That's the old timeline running the show while you're sitting in the passenger seat thinking you're driving. So you can say, I am abundant 10,000 times with your 5%. But if your 95% is screaming, I'm not safe, I'm not enough, I'm going to lose everything. People always leave, I always fail. Guess which signal the quantum field picks up? The dominant signal, not the loudest, not the most hopeful, the one that's actually running your system. This is why you've been stuck. Not for days, not for months, for years, maybe your entire life. You're trying to manifest from 5% of your awareness, while 95% is sabotaging you from beneath the surface. And the cruelest part? You blame yourself. You think you're broken. You think manifestation doesn't work for you. You think you're cursed or unlucky or just not meant to have what you want. But the truth is worse than that, and better than that. The truth is you've been manifesting perfectly. You've been getting exactly what your system is coded for, not what your conscious mind wants, what your full system broadcasts. And until you understand how to shift the full system, you'll keep collapsing the same reality over and over and over again. But stay with me, because what I'm about to show you changes everything. So if wanting doesn't work, what does? If trying doesn't work, what does? If visualizing from lack doesn't work, what actually collapses the quantum wave into the reality you desire? One word. And this word is going to sound too simple. Your mind is going to reject it. But if you can let this land, everything shifts. Decision, not desire. Decision, but not the kind of decision you think. Not a mental decision. Not you saying, I decide to be wealthy, while your body is contracted in fear and your bank account triggers panic. I'm talking about a quantum decision, a full system decision, where your mind, emotions, energy, nervous system, and actions all align into one coherent frequency. Let me show you how this actually works in quantum physics. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously as waves of potential. Imagine an infinite ocean where every version of your life is already real, already present, just vibrating at different frequencies. The version of you living in abundance already exists right now. The version of you in deep love already exists right now. The version of you healthy, free, and living your purpose already exists right now. They're not in the future. They're not possibilities waiting to become real. They are real, just on frequencies you haven't tuned into yet. When you make a quantum decision, you don't create a new reality. You collapse into the one that's been waiting for you. You tune your dial from 95.3 to 101.5. The station was always broadcasting. You just weren't listening to it. Nikola Tesla, the man who literally understood the universe better than almost anyone who's ever lived, said this. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Not hope, not belief, not wanting. Frequency and vibration. Your entire life is a frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every belief, every action, every word, every breath. It's all creating a vibrational signature that the quantum field reads and reflects back to you. And here's the part that makes this so simple it sounds stupid. The quantum field doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your story. It doesn't care about your circumstances. It doesn't care about what happened to you. It only cares about your frequency right now. In this moment, this means a version of you who is everything you desire isn't in the future. They're not 10 years away or 5 years away or even 1 day away. They're vibrating now on a frequency you can access in the next 5 minutes if you choose to. Not when you're ready, not when you've healed, not when you're worthy. Now, the question isn't, how do I get what I want? The question is, how do I tune into the frequency of the person who already has it? And once you understand how to do that, reality bends. Not slowly, instantly. So how do you tune into that frequency? How do you go from wanting to being? How do you shift from hoping to knowing? This is a part they don't teach, because if they taught it, you wouldn't need them anymore. One word, embodiment. But not fake embodiment. Not fake it till you make it. Not performance. Not pretending. Real embodiment. The kind that lives in your cells, in your breath, in your bones. Let me shatter the illusion right now. You think embodiment is about acting like you're rich when you're broke. Acting like you're loved when you're lonely. Acting like you're successful when you're struggling. That's not embodiment. That's delusion. And your nervous system knows the difference. The quantum field knows the difference. Real embodiment is this. It's making choices as if the desired reality is already true, while being fully present with where you actually are. Let me break this down with raw, real examples. If you're shifting into abundance, embodiment means when a bill comes, you breathe instead of panic. When you spend money, you do it with trust instead of guilt or fear. When you see something you want, you ask, do I want this? Not, can I afford this? You walk through the world with financial ease in your body, not financial anxiety. That's not pretending you have money you don't have. That's shifting the frequency from scarcity to abundance regardless of the number in your bank account. If you're shifting into love, embodiment means you soften your heart when you want to close it. You practice vulnerability when your wounds scream to armor up. You speak with warmth. You move with openness. You show up as someone who knows they're worthy of love, not someone hoping to be loved someday. If you're shifting into health, embodiment means you treat your body like it's already healing. You feed it with respect. You move it with gratitude. You rest it with love. You catch the inner voice that says, I'm broken, and you replace it with, I'm regenerating. Do you see the pattern? You don't wait for evidence to start living differently. You start living differently, and the evidence appears. This is a quantum code nobody teaches because it requires you to stop consuming information and start living it. The version of you who has what you desire isn't waiting in the future. They exist now, and you access them through microalignment. Microalignment is the secret weapon. It's not one big, dramatic transformation. It's the small moments, the tiny choices, the seemingly insignificant decisions that compound into a completely different frequency. A deep breath when you want to spiral. A moment of gratitude when you want to complain. A choice made from trust when fear is screaming in your ear. A word spoken from love when anger wants to lash out. These micro shifts might seem small, but they carry massive vibrational weight because the quantum field doesn't measure size. It measures coherence. One fully aligned breath can shift your trajectory. One moment of true embodiment can collapse a wave that's been waiting for years to be observed. So the practice is this. And I want you to really hear this because this is the only practice that matters. Throughout your day, catch yourself. Notice when you're acting from the old timeline. Notice when fear is driving, when doubt is choosing, when scarcity is deciding, when unworthiness is speaking. And in that moment, pause, take one breath, and ask yourself, what would the version of me who already lives in my desired reality do right now? Then do that, even if it's small, even if it feels vulnerable, even if nobody else sees it, even if you're terrified. Because the quantum field sees it, and it responds instantly. Not tomorrow, not next week. Instantly. Now I need to tell you something uncomfortable, something that might make you want to stop watching. But if you can stay with me through this next part, you'll understand why you've sabotaged every manifestation you've ever attempted. Quantum manifestation is simple, but simple doesn't mean easy, because doing this requires something most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to die. Not physically, but the version of you that's been running your life, that identity has to die. Your subconscious mind is addicted to the familiar, even if the familiar is painful, even if the familiar is destroying you, even if the familiar keeps you small, broke, lonely, and stuck. It's known, and the known feels safer than the unknown. This is why you self-sabotage. This is why right when things start to shift, you do something to pull yourself back. This is why you loop back to old patterns, even when you know better. It's not because you're broken. It's not because manifestation doesn't work for you. It's because your system is trying to keep you safe by keeping you the same. Your identity as a victim, the struggler, the one who never gets what they want, the one who's always disappointed. That identity has been your companion for years, maybe your entire life. It's shaped your relationships, your career, your bank account, your health, your entire reality. And letting it go feels like death, because it's ego death, it's identity death. It's the death of who you thought you were so that who you actually are can finally emerge. This is a resistance nobody talks about, and it's vicious. It shows up as overthinking, procrastination, self-doubt, the voice that says be realistic, the voice that says, who do you think you are? The voice that says this won't work for you, the voice that says you're different, the voice that says you've tried before and failed. But that voice isn't truth. It's fear. It's your nervous system trying to keep you in the old timeline, because the old timeline is familiar. And every single time you listen to that voice, you choose the old reality. You choose to stay stuck. You choose to keep manifesting the same life. But here's what you need to understand. And this might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. That voice gets louder right before the breakthrough. The resistance gets stronger right before the shift. The fear gets more intense right before the collapse. Why? Because your system knows you're about to change, and it's fighting for its survival. So if you're feeling resistance right now, if something in you is saying this is stupid, or this won't work, or I already know this, good, that means you're close. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will either set you free or make you angry. And honestly, both reactions mean the same thing. You're ready. If you're still watching, something is different about you. Most people clicked away already. Most people chose comfort over truth. But you're still here. That's not an accident. That's a signal. That's the quantum field responding to your willingness to shift. So here's what I need you to do right now. And this is not optional if you want reality to bend. Subscribe, not to this channel, to this frequency, because the algorithm will bury this video. Your mind will forget it. Life will distract you. But if you subscribe, you anchor yourself in this field. And in the comments, I want you to drop one word. Just one. The word that represents the old identity you're ready to release. The one that's been running your life. Maybe it's victim. Maybe it's small. Maybe it's unworthy. Maybe it's invisible. Maybe it's broken. Write it. Don't think about it. Don't edit it. Just write the first word that comes up. Because naming the pattern breaks its spell. The moment you name it, you're no longer inside it. You're observing it. And observation is the first step of collapse. Write it now, before your mind talks you out of it. Before you convince yourself it doesn't matter. Write it, and watch what happens in your body when you do. That shift you feel, that's quantum feedback. That's reality moving. Do it, then come back, because the final piece is coming. And this is where everything clicks. Here's the final piece. The reason why quantum manifestation is so simple, yet why 99.9% of people never experience it. It requires presence, not motivation, not discipline, not willpower. Presence. Quantum shifts don't happen in the future. They don't happen through one big awakening. They happen in the micro moments, the small choices, the tiny alignments, the seconds where you catch yourself and choose differently. And most people aren't present enough to catch those moments. They're living on autopilot, running the same neural pathways, reacting the same ways, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, making the same choices, expecting different results. But the quantum field doesn't reward unconsciousness. It rewards awareness. Every single moment, you're broadcasting a frequency. Every conversation, every thought, every emotion, every reaction, every breath, it's all signal. And if you're not aware of what you're signaling, you're just repeating the old program. The old timeline keeps playing because you keep pressing play without even realizing it. But the moment you become aware, everything changes. Awareness is the first act of transformation, not changing, not fixing, just seeing. When you see the pattern, you're no longer trapped in it. When you catch yourself broadcasting fear, you can choose trust. When you notice yourself contracting, you can choose to expand. This is the real practice. Not one big shift, but thousands of tiny aware choices that compound into a completely different frequency. And when that frequency stabilizes, when it becomes your baseline, reality has to bend. Not because you forced it, because you became it. This is why nobody does it, because it requires you to be awake. And most people would rather sleep through life than wake up and realize they've been choosing their prison. But you're different. You're still here, which means you're ready. So here we are. 14 minutes ago, you pressed play on this video, and you are not the same person anymore. You're vibrating differently. You're carrying new information, a new code, a new frequency. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle shift in your chest, that opening, that recognition. That's not motivation. That's quantum feedback. That's the field responding to your decision to change. So here's my final invitation. And this is where everything you just learned becomes real or becomes just another piece of information you consume and forget. In the next 24 hours, I want you to shock yourself. Do one thing that belongs to the version of you who's already living in your desired timeline. Not a big thing, not a dramatic gesture. Just one real, aligned, embodied choice. Maybe it's a breath when you want to panic. Maybe it's generosity when scarcity is screaming. Maybe it's vulnerability when you want to hide. Maybe it's trust when fear wants control. Maybe it's softness when you want to armor up. Whatever it is, do it, because in that moment, you're not waiting for change. You are the change. And when you do it, come back to this video. Come back to the comments and tell me what shifted, because your shift creates a ripple. Your frequency raises a collective. You matter. If this video cracks something open in you, if you feel different than you did 15 minutes ago, subscribe. Lock into this frequency. Stay in this field, because this is where reality bends. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for being willing to die so you can finally live. Now go. Choose differently. Shock yourself. Surprise the universe. And watch what happens when you stop manifesting and start being. Because it's not magic. It's not wishful thinking. It's not hope. It's quantum physics. And you just learn how to use it.